You've always been the strong one, haven't you? The one who keeps calm when everyone else falls apart. The one who says, "It's okay, I'll handle it." And you do. You always do. People admire that about you. Your resilience, your composure, your ability to keep moving forward even when life hits hard. But what they don't see is that sometimes when the world goes quiet, that strength starts to feel like a cage. Because behind that steady voice and reassuring smile, there's a loneliness that almost no one recognizes. The loneliness of the person who's never allowed to fall apart. This kind of strength doesn't come out of nowhere. It isn't something you were born with, it's something you had to learn. Psychologists call it adaptive functioning, when you unconsciously develop traits to survive your environment. Maybe you grew up in a family where emotions were dismissed, where crying was met with, "Stop being dramatic." Or maybe your home was chaotic, one parent absent, another overwhelmed, so you became the one who stayed in control. The one who didn't cause more problems. You learned that if you wanted peace, you had to earn it. You learned that being the calm one kept you safe. So while other kids were allowed to be carefree, you were learning how to anticipate needs, solve problems, and keep yourself small enough not to add to anyone else's burdens. That's how strong personalities are born, not out of confidence but out of necessity. Your strength was never just a trait, it was a survival mechanism. And now, as an adult, that survival mechanism has become your identity. You're the dependable friend, the responsible sibling, the one who gets things done at work. You're known for being put together. People come to you for advice, for emotional support, for stability. But when you need someone, really need someone, you go silent. Because after years of taking care of others, you've forgotten what it feels like to be taken care of. You tell yourself you don't need help. You tell yourself you can handle it. And part of you even feels guilty for wanting someone to notice when you're struggling. That's the trap. You've been rewarded your whole life for being strong. So now, you don't know how to be anything else. What you call strength is, in psychological terms, emotional suppression. It's the ability to regulate your emotions so tightly that even you forget what they feel like. Neuroscience tells us that when emotional expression is discouraged in childhood, the brain learns to down-regulate those signals, literally to shut them off. It's an adaptation. If crying led to rejection or conflict, your body learned not to cry, but the emotions don't disappear. They just move underground, into your chest, your stomach, your muscle tension, your insomnia. You feel them as heaviness instead of tears, restlessness instead of rage. That's why strength, over time, turns into loneliness. Because no one can see your pain, not even you. You probably don't realize how much you do for everyone. You're the one who remembers birthdays, checks in when others go quiet, fixes what's broken, fills the silence when things get awkward. You apologize even when it's not your fault. You say, "Don't worry about me," when it absolutely is about you. You carry everyone else's emotions like invisible weights, scanning for who's upset, who's uncomfortable, who needs help. And because you're so good at holding it together, people assume you don't need holding yourself. So they thank you for your strength, while never asking about your pain. You tell yourself that opening up would only make things harder. That no one wants to hear your problems. They've got enough of their own. But deep down, there's something else driving it. Fear. Fear that if you finally let someone in, they'll see how fragile you actually are. Fear that your worth, the thing that's always made people need you, might vanish if you're no longer the strong one. In therapy, this is called conditional worth. It's when you learn that love and safety are earned through usefulness, not authenticity. So even when you want to fall apart, you keep showing up, because being strong feels safer than being rejected. The cost of constant strength is connection. You can't truly bond with others when you're always performing stability. People love you for your reliability, but they don't really know you. Not the you who cries in the shower so no one hears. Not the you who feels invisible in rooms full of people who depend on you. You've built walls disguised as boundaries. You've mistaken emotional control for peace, and every time you swallow your pain, you reinforce the belief that your needs don't matter. Over time, that becomes emotional isolation. The quiet kind of loneliness that sits next to you even when you're surrounded by love. So what does psychology say about healing this? It's not about dropping your strength. It's about integrating it. Real strength isn't the absence of need, it's the ability to hold both, your power and your vulnerability. Therapists who work with attachment and trauma often start with something called emotional permission. It means teaching your nervous system that it's safe to feel again. It begins small. You start by noticing when you say, "I'm fine," automatically. You pause and ask yourself, "Am I really fine?" You don't have to tell the world. Just tell yourself the truth. You practice what's called co-regulation. That's when you allow someone, a trusted friend, a therapist, a partner, to sit with you in discomfort instead of hiding it. Your brain literally learns through those moments that connection can be safe, that not everyone will reject your softness. It's not easy. The first time you open up, your body might tremble. You'll want to take it back. But healing doesn't come from being fearless. It comes from being honest, scared, and still choosing to stay. There's a quiet shift that happens when you begin to let others see the real you. You start to realize that people don't love you because you're strong. They love you despite it. They love the small cracks in your armor. The moments when you admit you're tired, when you laugh at your mistakes, when you let someone else take the lead. That's what psychologists call authentic self-expression, the ability to exist without performing. It's the foundation of healthy relationships. When you begin to practice that, something beautiful happens. Your strength stops being armor and starts becoming presence. You're still dependable, but you're also alive. You can breathe. Strength was never supposed to mean silence. It was never supposed to mean isolation or self-neglect. It was meant to mean resilience through connection. The ability to bend without breaking, to cry without collapsing, to love without losing yourself. And that version of strength, the one that includes your humanity, is the kind that heals, not hides. If you've recognized yourself in these words, the caretaker, the listener, the strong one, I want you to know this. Your strength is real. It kept you alive. It protected you when you had no one else. But now, you're allowed to have more than survival. You're allowed to be held, to be helped, to be human. Psychology calls it earned security, when you slowly replace the old belief of, "I'm on my own," with, "I can be safe with others." It doesn't happen overnight. But every time you tell the truth about how you feel, every time you accept comfort instead of rejecting it, you're rewiring that belief. That's what healing looks like. Not perfection, not endless strength, but the quiet bravery of being seen. So to you, the one who's always been strong, you don't have to keep proving your worth through endurance. You don't have to smile through exhaustion just to be loved. You can still be strong and tired, brave and afraid. You can still hold others and be held. Because true strength isn't the ability to carry everything alone. It's the courage to finally say, "I don't want to carry this alone anymore." And maybe that's the moment your loneliness finally begins to fade.